Hi, Dr. Tina McKay here with Healthy Life Chiropractic, and I have somebody joining me today. This is Heather, all right? Heather is our newest massage therapist, actually, and it worked out perfect. Today's her first day, so I've heard wonderful things, okay, from the patients that you saw this morning.
Oh, awesome.
So we were asking, yes, heard wonderful things. So we are delighted to have Heather join us, and actually, it was a perfect day for her to join us because today we're going to be talking about problem-focused massage therapy and flexibility and how important it is. So I'm Dr. Tina McKay, been here at Healthy Life Chiropractic. Let's see, we just celebrated 22 years last month, so I was delighted about that. We're about a half a mile west of Thomas Crossroads, and again, we've been serving the community for the last 22 years. We do a bunch of different things. I'd recommend that you actually check out our website, which is healthylifechiropractic.com, and you can see all the services that we provide. So one of those services that we provide is problem-focused massage therapy, or neuromuscular reeducation is what we call it. So tell us a little bit about what does problem-focused therapy actually mean? When I say that, what does that mean to you?
So to me, generally, when you have a client who has an issue, like say rotator cuff problems are usually very common.
They are common.
Yes. Usually you get in there.
And I can explain why, but yes, go ahead.
So you're really getting in there, focusing in more on the trigger points that surround the rotator cuff and all the muscles that also go into not just the movement of the rotator cuff, but is also affected by that movement as well.
Yes. So. All right. So where our paperwork, and this is lended very easily to the massage therapist, is, we'll ask, we have a short form that the patient has to fill out where they're listing what their chief complaint is and why they are seeking the massage therapy, or why has either myself or Dr. Insolia actually put in their prescription of care massage therapy or neuromuscular reeducation. And the reason being is because, from my perspective, a lot of patients will actually come in to the office, broken. I mean, they've got something bothering them, and it's keeping them from doing what they want, when they want, how they want, or with whom they want, okay? Because wives will oftentimes send their husbands.
Yes.
So when we're working with these patients, usually it's long-standing problems. So there is a nervous system component, a structural component having to do with the subluxation, whether or not that nervous system component was caused by physical stress, which is accident, trauma, injury. You can also take a look at individuals' workstations. That's something that I would say heavily influenced the last 3 years, because I have folks at home that are working from home, and their workstation is a lazy boy.
Yes.
Please don't do that. Or the ergonomics for their workstation at home is so deplorable, and it is catching up with them, and they're coming in with anterior head carriage, rotated shoulders. They're sitting at the computer like that all day long, Or you got your bifocals on and you're doing this, Yes, so yes, I've heard it all. So I'm asking a lot about work stress. So that structural problem with the spine a lot of times is caused by physical stress. Don't just think, motor vehicle accident, You didn't have to spread out 60 bags of mulch, in your yard on Saturday. That's a physical stress, So the workstation. Get out of the box just a little bit when we talk about physical stress as far as the body is concerned. Because a lot of times it's those little things that you're doing, that are going to come back and bite you.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Another type of structural stress, or the subluxation or irritation to the nervous system, it's either physical stress, which we went over, chemical stress. That's over-the-counter drugs, cigarettes, alcohol, prescription drugs. Number one sources are food in this country, and I've talked about this many times, and actually I mentioned it to someone who, this morning, I was doing a report, and I was going over mom's stuff, and then all 3 of her children are patients also. So a lot of times, she lived outside the United States for several years. There are all sorts of different foods in this country that we eat all the time that are banned in other countries because they are so full of chemicals as far as our body is concerned. I was reading a book this weekend that actually emphasized, as far as nutrition is concerned, best suggestion as far as nutrition, really at the grocery store, stay on the outside walls. That's always good. Don't go into the interior because that's where all the chemicals are. So you want to make sure that, you're shopping on the perimeter of the grocery store. I see Marilyn actually just signed in. Marilyn actually brings us our eggs. We're looking forward to her chickens starting to work. So you can get eggs here probably next week, I think is what she had said when I was texting her. So that is a load of chemical stress, okay? It also can be emotional stress if you know how much eggs are at the grocery store. They're outrageous.
Yeah.
So it is physical stress. It is chemical stress. So you really want to pay attention to that nutrition. There's also all sorts of different supplements. Me too. Thanks, Marilyn. Yeah, the chickens need to get to work, girlfriend. So there is the last one as far as stress and it actually affecting your structure is the emotional stress. Now, none of us have any of that. Okay. So emotional stress is a big one. Most ladies will carry their emotional stress basically in their neck and shoulders. Okay. And men carried in their low back. Please do not ask me for a Harvard study having to do with this. I've just got 22 years of experience of that front door opening and folks walking in like that. So it's physical, chemical, and emotional stress that is usually causing a symptom, and the patient is arriving in the chiropractic office. Most patients in this office, particularly adults, because it's been going on for so long, have a musculature component too, hence the massage therapy and the 3 fabulous massage therapists that we have here and the work that they're doing. They're working on the muscular component because it has usually been chronic. It's been there for a while. And musculature does change over periods of time. Okay, if you don't believe me, we'd all look like we were 18 and buff. Okay, and I don't know about y'all, but I ain't looking like that. So that is when we actually have the massage therapist work with the clients, and that is part of their prescription of care. So give me an example of like the hip flexors. I know the psoas is really, I see psoas muscles actually on film, okay, all the time, and they're not supposed to be there, guys. So that is from sitting. So when a person is sitting for a long period of time, which is actually called the new smoking, okay, they're sitting for a long period of time, that iliopsoas muscle is engaged because it is a hip flexor, and they're sitting for such long periods of time, it's like the muscle shortens up, it becomes more dense, and then I can see it on an x-ray. And then the patient has a complaint of low back pain. This is where you go to stand up, and it takes a few steps to get the hitch out of your giddy, okay, before you can get up on down the road, okay? That's exactly how I describe it to patients, okay? Because hitching your giddy is a serious diagnosis. And, okay, they actually, every single patient is like, oh yeah, that's me, okay? So what would you do as far as like problem-focused work on the psoas? Can you give me an example?
Okay, so first and foremost, it would be almost like we're draping the leg. You're working along that hip bone right here. Generally speaking, if I can, I might get them to drop their leg off the table. It'll kind of stretch it out a little bit, so that way I can get in there a little bit more. You can also.
I heard you got bony thumbs. One of the patients said that, yeah, you'd never know that she was that strong. That's a great compliment, though.
Okay, hopefully the good.
It was a great compliment. Oh yeah, she was thrilled with it. She was thrilled with her session.
Okay, awesome.
Because I asked me specifically. Okay.
All right. Well, anyway.
And she scheduled you with you again.
Oh, awesome. All right. But
so
anyways,
y'all want to get on her appointment book?
Yes, please.
Because it'll be booked.
Psoas muscle, you're getting in there. If there's like a trigger point, obviously you might actually want to get them to kind of slowly move their leg a little bit up and down, just going to help work
that's
that
going
muscle.
to activate the muscle. That's what she's talking about, and that's kind of like PNF work, ART, active release therapy. So we're not napping here, and we're not doing fluff and buff. Okay, so what we are doing is problem-focused work, and the patient is participating because we have found when we do the problem-focused work, you do the trigger point, you're doing the active release therapy, you're doing the PNF work, okay? That is patient-driven also, and the outcomes are just so much better.
Oh yeah. Well, you have to think too, with the PNF, that falls under the neuromuscular techniques.
Yes.
And especially discussing stress. When you're stressed, you're going to fight or flight mode. All those nerves go to your muscles and activate them, and they're gonna.
We actually went over that during my continuing education this weekend.
Oh, all right.
Yes. Nociceptors.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and mechanoreceptors. Yeah, nice little big words. Okay.
But no, anyways, basically when you get
and
stressed,
what actually occurs with that?
They basically get like stuck like
Yes.
that. And so when you're using those neuromuscular techniques, you're really getting them loosened back up and getting them to where they need to go. That and of course getting their bones straightened out.
Yes. Well, in the fight or flight response, okay, and there's a ton of Facebook Lives having to do with this, okay? We as Americans live in a fight or flight response all the time, okay? You're not supposed to live in that phase all the time, okay? And the reason why in this office we focus on coming out of the fight or flight, all right, scenario where you're all the time, okay, is because healing does not occur when you are in a fight or flight response. The fight or flight response is where you hear about a mom lifting a car off of a child, okay? It is short burst. You want it to happen. Your pupils are going to dilate. Your heart rate's going to go up. Your blood vessels are going to... All this is going on, all right, and because you are mentally, okay, interpreting danger and you need to move away from it, okay? But we are not supposed to be in this stressed state all the time. And we, particularly as Americans, we're living that 24/7.
Yes.
And that, like I said, there's a ton of other live Facebooks. So having to do with fight or flight, it can affect your sexual function. It can affect, okay, your sleep. It can affect your skin, dry hair, dry skin. There's a whole host. Your digestion, yes, okay. So, I mean, it can cause irritable bowel syndrome. It can cause Crohn's. There's a whole litany of different things that occur to the physiology of the body, one of which is those tight, taut, tense muscles, which is what Heather works on.
Yes.
Okay. I restore the nerve function. Dr. Nick restores, okay, the nerve function. We are focused on that. But again, it is long-standing problems, generally, that the patient is coming in with, and there becomes a heavily involved muscular component that must be addressed. So that is what Heather does. So we are delighted to have Heather here. She's all the therapists we're delighted to have here. They are all different. They will know what the end goal is as far as that problem-focused work. But they're going to take 3 different pathways. You do not have to be a chiropractic patient in order to utilize massage therapy in this office or neuromuscular reeducation. So again, if you are having a specific problem, low back, rotator cuff, we do a ton of extremity work, and I would recommend that you do get adjusted. But the massage therapy is problem-focused, trigger point work, PNF, ART. It is active with the patient. So we are delighted to have you here. I kind of scared her on her first day. I was like, come back here. We're going to do a live Facebook. Okay. So nothing like getting started right out of chute. So this is Heather, one of our wonderful massage therapists. You also have Brandon and Nay here. I'm Dr. Tina McKay. Thank you for joining us today. It's Healthy Life Chiropractic. If you want more information, you can visit our website, which is healthylifechiropractic.com. You can stop by the office and schedule a consult, and I can sit down with you and we can go over your specific health challenges and the different services that we offer here at Healthy Life Chiropractic that can help with that. So again, Dr. Tina McKay, Healthy Life Chiropractic, thank you for joining us. All right. And we will chat later on this week with Dr. Nick.